spotted a familiar yet unfamiliar figure in a breezeway of the imperial villa. This was the place where she'd first seen Shen-Che. Just one distant glance made her skin crawl, though less terrifying than the last encounter. She met his gaze calmly and even walked toward him with apparent interest. Qiao Wanyan hated him to the core. If not for him, she wouldn't have fainted in the forest, fallen into an assassin's trap, or been used as bait to attract the crown prince, resulting in her injury. She even wondered if stealing Qiao Yihuan's destiny meant absorbing her misfortunes too. What a despicable man, handsome but heartless. She stopped half a zang away, too close for comfort, given her lingering fear of this skin-peeling madman. No one she'd ever met played such horrific games. Her lips curved into a radiant smile, as warm as spring and as beautiful as a painting. But her words were anything but gentle, laced with bitterness. So the heir isn't dead? Shen-Che was silent. He'd witnessed her temperament in the forest, but the reunion still led him to survive to second Mrs. Disappointment. Qiao Wanyan clicked her tongue. Great lie. Disappointed. Hope you won. Let me down next time. After another long silence, Shen-Che nodded. All right. The attendants beside them blinked. Was this even a normal conversation? The heir will stay in the capital for a while, so we'll have plenty of chances to meet next time. I hope you ray not well. She turned and left. Watching her go, Shen-Che murmured after a pause. She really hates me. Su Fei wanted to read only her and Xiaoing in the vast, desolate yard. Yuhuan, what are you doing here? Liu Yanren asked, shocked to find Qiao Yihuan in the courtyard while visiting with gifts. Yihuan should be at Shang Lin hunting ground, deepening her bond with the crown prince, having Yunheng detoxify him, and winning the Empress's approval like the novel said. Qiao Yuhuan looked listless, her spirit drained, staring blankly like a walking corpse. The recent blow had left her sleepless for days, gaunt and haggard. What's wrong? You've lost so much weight and look awful. Liu Yanran was confused. Since entering the palace, she'd been treated well as the 10th princess associate, quickly becoming a favored servant. But Yi Huan's situation didn't match the novel. Qiao Yuhuan asked dully, why are you here? Liu Yanran held up pastries. It's my day off. My family sin Yongju, so I came to visit Aunt Wu. She stayed in the palace on previous days, fearing encounters with Qiao Wanyan. Only knowing Wanyan was at Shanglin hunting ground had she dared to leave. Qiao Yuhuan laughed bitterly, her eyes red. Liu Yanran pressed. What happened? Xiaoing explained. Aunt Wu is gone. Liu Yanran was stunned. Gone? But Aunt Wu is supposed to survive until Yi Huan becomes empress, then get exiled for causing trouble, not die now. How did she die? Xiaoing glanced at Qiao Yihuan. The master. He killed her and ordered silence. Overflowing with pity, she spilled everything about Shanglin hunting ground, leaving Liu Yanran speechless. How could this be? What did Qiao Wanyan do? She'd suspected at Pharmacist Valley, but now wondered, had the novel as characters gained free will? She'd read about self-aware fictional characters. Could Qiao Wanyan? A kill ran down her spine. Wanyan was ruthless. If she triumphed, Liu Yanran would meet a bad end. Her only choice was to help Yi Huan. Grasping Yi Huan's hand, she said, I can help you, but you must be brave. Qiao Yi Huan's face flickered with hope. Remember I said you were the fated heroine, protected by heaven? You can't die even if it's a BB at your heart. You'd survive. Yuhuan was confused. Can't die? She recalled Zilon trying to strangle her, only for her to faint mysteriously. The imperial physician found nothing. Was heaven protecting me? What should I do? Liu Yanran declared. Commit suicide. Throw yourself off a cliff. Qiao Wanyan's arm wound had scabbed over, fading into a faint scar thanks to Yunheng's medicine. Siuan peeled grapes onto a plate. Miss, it looks like rain. Wanyan ate a grape with a fork, its sweet juice bursting in her mouth. She opened the window to overcast skies. Soon, fine rain fell steadily. The imperial exam is approaching. Seolon was surprised their branch had no brothers taking the exam. The second branch second son was participating. But Wanyan barely knew him. I heard His Highness the Crown Prince will preside over the exam with the Ministry of Rights. Wonder who will be the top candidate. Wanyan stayed silent. Zhu Shujian, father's favored disciple, he aced every exam. From county to palace level, his painting of her reclining was still hung in Yangning Pavilion. As rain poured, ministers arrived at the city gate to kneel before the imperial carriage. Wanyan would have alighted, but Jing Yuan informed her she could stay, sparing her from the downpour. Long after the carriage entered, ministers and families returned home. Minister Qiao was met by a servant whispering in his ear. He told his wife and Wanyan to rest while he went to his study. Locking the door, he strode behind a screen to find Zhu Shujian, standing before a portrait of Qiao Wanyan, smiling with peach blossoms, radiant as a flower fairy. Welcome back, Minister. You must be tired. Zhu Shujian's voice was cool, his snow-cleared face calm. Gone was the minister's usual warmth. His face was frosty, his aura imposing. You owe me an explanation. You promised this plan would end Tharm Wanyan, but without the pharmacist valley doctor, she'd be dead. Zhu Shujian was unfazed. I'll account for it. He twisted a vase, revealing a secret passage. Minister Qiao followed him into the study hidden chamber, lit by night pearls. Amin with severed tendons knelt the assassin leader from Shanglin, hunting ground who duzed Wanyan as bait. My subordinates overstepped his life for your peace of mind. Our goal is to let this filth end our cooperation. Minister Qiao looked down on the man. I'd mend my family stay out of future matters, or our alliance ends permanently. Zhu Shujian smiled. As you wish. Everything unfolded as you predicted. Soon, Xiling will send the hostage back with Prince Jing. Every move is Ray hears at 1,000 times to eliminate flaws. The plan proceeds. Next steps are in motion. They ignored the kneeling man, treating him as good as dead. After Zhu Shujian left, Minister Qiao stabbed the assassin, twisting the blade to mash his heart. Then calmly wiped blood from his hands and face. Leaving Zhu Shujian met Xilon. Master Zhu, here for the minister? He nodded, to return borrowed books. But he seems busy so I'll go. Xilon agreed she'd seen the servant summoning the minister. I'll walk you out. I need to run an errand. Where to? Yu Ming Tower's new osmanthus cheese. Miss will want it when she wakes. Second Miss likes osmanthus sweets. Xilon smiled. You're right. Every October, the mansion smells of osmanthus. Zhu Shujian said. She sent me stationery. Let me buy the cheeses, thanks. Would you allow it? Xilon hesitated. Wanyan had gifted the stationery for his painting. Zhu Shujian looked earnest. And she craved Yu Ming Tower's pork knuckle. Why not send a servant? But she couldn't refuse. All right. Wanyan woke in the afternoon as a maid massaged her calves. Xilon entered, barely containing gossip. Guess what's happening in the capital? Wanyan didn't look up. What? Xilon crouched by her feet. Pingyang Earl's sixth son was castrated. Wanyan raised an eyebrow. Castrated how? Missing limbs? Rendered infertile? Wanyan whistled. Perfect. For palace service then. Xilon laughed. Whoever did this is a hero. He had 50 concubines, all sent away. Concubine Shu threw a fit, begging the emperor to investigate. But he scolded her instead. Sima Yu was La Charouse, repelling noble brides. Concubine Shu had tried matching Wanyan to him, even seeking an imperial edict. Disgusting. Now she couldn't meddle. Wanyan said. He deserved it. Concubine Shu has no sense. Why would the emperor care about this? But who had the guts to cripple a nobleman in the capital? The ruthlessness was intriguing. Xilon huffed. Yes. That sixth son both read you too. He got what he deserved. Wanyan smiled at her indignation. Fetch that. osmanthus cheese from Yuming Tower. Master Zhu offered to buy it. As thanks for the stationery. Wanyan adjusted her hair. He's doubtful. Shall we receive him when he comes? She shook her head. My time's too precious. Shen Che was lodged in the former Zen King Marquis Manor, confiscated after the family's execution, unsuitable for a hostage. It was the only option next door to the Minister of Revenue's mansion. Gazing at the cracked, unrepaired walls separating them, Shen Che's starry eyes blinked. The old emperor picked an interesting place. Master, rest after your journey. The main bedroom is ready, let me escort you. Shen Che paused. We brought Xiling specialties. As neighbors and friends, I should visit second Miss Kiao. Su Fei thought. Since when are they friends? Shen Che turned. What are you waiting for? Prepare the gifts. Nodding, Su Fei left. Shen Che stood still, watching the wall like a statue until a sparrow landed on his shoulder. When Su Fei returned, he slowly departed. In the carriage, Shen Che said, being a hostage sucks. 4 spies watched me stare at a wall. Su Fei braced for an order to kill them, but none came. Endure for now. Master, we don't know who sent them. Killing them could invite trouble. Shen Che rubbed Axe's piece on the board from his journey. He placed a black stone. Kill them all. Master, but we have allies in the capital. That's what they ray for. He added, I hate being watched. At the Kiao mansion, Shen Che saw a man in a green robe, tall, jade-faced, exuding cool mystery. Su Fei announced, His Highness the Xiling heir, to visit second Miss Kiao. A servant eyed Shen Che and his boxes. Xiling heir? Yes, recently arrived. The servant understood this was the hostage everyone talked about. Wait here. I'll announce you. Silence fell between Shen Che, Zhu Shujian, and their men. What's in the box? Shen Che asked about Zhu Shujian's package. Cheese. For whom? Second Miss. Shen Che's obsidian eyes darkened. What's your relationship? Unspeakable. Shen Che frowned. You look short-lived. Zhu Shujian looked inside. So do you? Shen Che found him as irritating as ever. When the servant returned, he blocked Shen Che's path. Second Miss is busy. Your Highness. She'll visit later to apologize. Shen Che was confused. Why refuse him? Disappointment followed. Zhu Shujian asked, Is that really what she said? The servant lied, of course. He couldn't admit Wanyan had said, Tell him to scram. Zhu Shujian didn't believe it. Shen Che stayed, eager to see Zhu Shujian rebuffed too. But Zhu Shujian walked confidently toward Yangning Pavilion until the servant blocked him. Master Zhu, Miss said to leave the cheese with me. Zhu Shujian's smile didn't waver as he handed over the box. Thank you. He left without a word, ignoring Shen Che. Shen Che gestured to his gifts. Since she took the cheese, keep these too. He departed. The servant rushed to Yangning Pavilion with the boxes. Xiuan tested the cheese with a silver needle before serving it. Wanyan smiled in satisfaction. Delicious. Get another for Sun Tian and ask if she can replicate it. Xiuan noticed the lingering servant. What else? He stammered. The Xiling heir left gifts at the gate. Return them or keep them. Wanyan frowned. A weasel bringing New Year gifts. Throw them out, they ray bad luck. News of the discarded gifts reached Shen Che and the emperor. Grinding ink, Su Hao said. The Xiling heir seems interested in second Miss Kiao. The emperor sipped tea. She's stunning and really exactly the novelty that attracts noble youths jaded by luxury. Su Hao laughed like Prince Jing, who got injured but can't hate her. The emperor's gaze turned sharp. Are you mocking my son? Su Hao knelt. I dare not. The emperor chuckled. He is a fool in love, a hopeless romantic. But was the heir interested in Wanyan or Minister Kiao? Time would tell. 5 years ago, the minister's disciple had learned of surviving former dynasty royalty in Xiling. Without that bloodline, rebels were harmless, but its existence posed a threat. Xiling's long peace had given no excuse for war, but the Shanglin hunting ground assassination let the crown prince blame Xiling, forcing them to hand over the hostage to avoid conflict. Now, the emperor needed to confirm Minister Qiao's ties to Xiling and the descendants of the previous dynasty's truth. The emperor set down his teacup. The former dynasty empress was exiling princess, making Xiling a likely refuge. He had to be cautious. An attendant announced, "Crown Prince requests an audience." "Admit him." He entered. "Father, I was just discussing the Xiling heir." The emperor smiled, choosing between a irrelevant the former dynasty remnant and their own prince. Which will Xiling choose? He was shocked. "Xiling's prince? Guess." The emperor smiled, leaving He Ziyu to understand. Su Hao knew the answer too for Xiling's emperor. The choice was clear. The old emperor of Xiling had a meager fortune and a sparse offspring, with only 2 sons. The eldest son, Prince Xin, was ignorant and stupid, easily influenced by slander, and eventually fell into a trap of conspiracy due to this flaw, meeting his death at the hands of the old emperor. It was a father's reluctant act of killing his son. The second son, Prince Rui, was somewhat better than his elder brother, but he indulged in beauty and excessive lust, resulting in a body even weaker than that of the old emperor. The concubines in his backyard were in constant turmoil, yet he turned a blind eye. From time to time, the bodies of concubines were carried out through the back door, making the old emperor furious but dare not truly punish him. As the only remaining son, he had to be well kept despite his incompetence. However, everything slowly changed 18 years ago, when Princess Rui gave birth to the first son of the Rui Palace. The eldest grandson was passed over his father and crowned as the crown prince at the age of 10. The day before this 10-year-old crown prince was conferred the title, he killed his father and the side concubine, and peeled off the side concubine's skin to drape over Prince Rui's body. Rumors spread, but no one knew the exact reason for that year's incident. The old emperor of Xiling, having only this one bloodline, naturally was reluctant to let him die in Deu. After all, he had been crowned as the crown prince, even after the act of patricide. This time, the remnants of the former dynasty would surely be sent out by the old emperor. The emperor said, "You have done this matter well, but I can publicly commend you. After the matter of the former dynasty remnants is resolved, I will assign the western suburb camp to your management." He Ziyu immediately lady down. "Your son thanks the father emperor. Get up. The empress mentioned your marriage to me not long ago. Do you have any thoughts now? I'm not an old-fashioned person. If you have someone you like, I will prioritize your wish." The emperor asked about family matters meaningfully, just like an ordinary father worrying about his son's marriage. But He Ziyu knew clearly that he must not act recklessly. Even so, however, the person he wanted to marry, your son. He Ziyu was at a loss for words. The emperor said, "You have told me many times that you will marry no one but the eldest daughter of the Qiao family, even at the cost of giving up everything, which has become well known in the city. Now that the eldest daughter of the Qiao family is in a predicament with public opinion, if you marry her you will marry a joke. If you don't, your previous oath will also become a joke. In any case, he was caught in a dilemma because of a woman." He Ziyu suddenly fell silent, not saying a word for a long time. His mind went blank, and the next moment, he recalled the scene of first meeting Qiao Yihuan. She was pure, beautiful, and carried an untouched purity. The first time he saw her was on a long street. She stood in front of a little beggar who had risked stealing buns out of hunger, preventing the stall owner from continuing to beat the beggar. After paying for all the buns and giving them to the little beggar, she distributed the remaining buns to those poor people who could afford to eat. At that moment, he had the urge to get to know her. Later, when they met again by chance at a banquet, She was squeezed out and isolated by those noble ladies, just like himself in childhood, doing everything alone, without friends or family love. He swore at that time to make her the most honorable woman in Deu, to care for and love her well. He used to think so and was making efforts for it, making it well known in the city and leaving no way back. At this time, a palace maid entered and reported respectfully, "Your Majesty, the Grand Tutor requests an audience." The Emperor said lightly, "You go out first." He stood up, took 2 steps back and turned to leave. On the day of the metropolitan examination, the whole city was looking forward to who would be the top candidate this year. The metropolitan examination was held in 3 sessions, with each session 3 days apart, entering one day in advance and exiting the next day. Before entering, body searches and door blockades were carried out to ensure fairness and justice, preventing cheating. This year's metropolitan examination was hosted by the Crown Prince with the assistance of the Ministry of Rights, so it was more rigorous than usual. A solemn atmosphere pervaded, and all candidates began to feel nervous. March 15th was the 3rd session of the metropolitan examination. The Minister of Rights walked to the Crown Prince side and presented the roster of the relatively excellent candidates from the first 2 sessions. Zhu flipped through it and saw the name Zhu Shujian on the last page. His family had some reputation earlier years but gradually declined. Later, he achieved excellent results in the county exam and provincial exam, which could be regarded as a case of a noble rising from a humble background. The Minister of Rights said, "This Zhu Shujian is really remarkable, performing well in the first 2 exams. His poems are but not flashy, ornate but not gaudy, with profound artistic conception and beautiful rhythm, quoting classics and being free-flowing, which even the Imperial College Chancellor or can't help but praise." He didn't speak, just took a few more looks at Zhu Shujian's information. The Minister of Rights had been an official for many years. In recent years, the Crown Prince had never participated in the imperial examination, but this year he participated in the metropolitan examination, and he had privately speculated about it. Now that Prince Jing had returned to the capital and held military power, he was not inferior to the Crown Prince of the Eastern Palace. It was still uncertain who would finally sit on the throne of the Son of Heaven. Looking at the whole 9 prefectures, I'm afraid no one can fathom the Emperor's intention. Now that the Crown Prince was presiding over the metropolitan examination, he guessed that he should want to select several good candidates from the metropolitan examination to support Secret Lie and cultivate them as his own advisors and assistants in the court in the future. Zhu Shujian was the best among the candidates and most likely to catch the crown. Prince say it was no big deal for him to recommend him on behalf. He closed the roster and said, "Take me to see these candidates." The Minister of Rights nodded in response and led the Crown Prince to go one by one according to the order in the roster. The first 9 candidates were nervous when they saw the Crown Prince in a python robe, not daring to breathe loudly, although they had seen many officials presiding over the metropolitan examination. After entering the capital, it was the first time they had seen the Crown Prince. Although young, even about the same age as some candidates, his aura was so strong that people didn't dare to look him in the eye. But when they came to the last candidate on the roster, the Minister of Rights clearly saw that. Although Zhu Shujian was a little surprised, he was not as flustered and nervous as the previous candidates. He just took a look, nodded to salute, and then continued to do the questions. His stable emotion made him secretly praise. Such youth and calmness would surely make great achievements in the future. This year's top scholar was most likely to be him. His gaze gradually moved down to his paper, and out of the corner of his eye, He swept the pen in his hand and felt it seem familiar. Looking at the ink stone in the upper left corner, his expression that had just been calm suddenly became frosty. This set of inkstone, he recognized, was the treasure of Mobile bookstore. Zhu Shujian was still bowing his head writing, but he clearly felt a sharp and gloomy gaze fall on him. This isn't the words that came to his mouth were forcefully swallowed back. Jing Yuan took a look at His Highness' face and immediately held back. Isn't this the treasure of Mobile bookstore? Last time, when His Highness happened to see the second miss coming out of Mobile book store upstairs in the tea house, he summoned the bookstore manager and learned what the second miss had bought. At that time, he vowed that this set of study treasures must have been given to His Highness by the second miss, and only His Highness knew that the second miss was even so attentive to everyone. But now, the course of events was not going as he had said at all. Jing Yuan looked back at Zhu Shujian. Why did the second miss give such precious things to a poor scholar? The Minister of Rites also saw that the Crown Prince's face was not good, almost unable to suppress the anger in his heart, and his face was very dark. He had been an official for many years, and his years of being an official were older than the Crown Prince's age. Naturally, he could see that it was not the time to step forward and ask for trouble, so he simply slowed down and maintained a safe distance. If the Crown Prince had something to instruct, he could also know and go over quickly, but at the moment, he didn't go over. Jing Yuan said, Your Highness, don't be angry. Zhu Shujian is a student of Minister Qiao. Maybe Minister Qiao valued Zhu Shujian and asked the second miss to buy it on his behalf. But when he said this, Jing Yuan himself didn't believe it. How much did Minister Qiao dote on the second miss? How could he let the second miss do such a thing? There were so many servants in the minister's mansion. How could the second miss be needed? He's Yushin holding the roster. Unconscious Lai exerted force. His fingertips turned blue and white, and the paper appeared wrinkled. Why should I be angry? He turned to look at him. Jing Yuan quickly said, Yes, Your Highness, and the second miss don't have any substantive relationship, just the relationship between the Crown Prince and the daughter of a minister. I have talked too much. Please forgive me, Your Highness. After saying this, Jing Yuan carefully looked at His Highness' face, but it still didn't calm down, and the heart hanging in his heart jumped to his throat even more. He Ziyu put the roster in his hand on the table. The roster that should have been smooth and complete was like having experienced the baptism of a storm. He stood there quietly, his eyes dark as if covered by a thick layer of ink, deep and bottomless. After a long time, he said in a deep voice, I'm not angry. What does it have to do with him who Qiao Wanyan likes, who she gives things to, and who she will marry in the future? Jing Yuan was silent for a long time and then asked carefully, Your Highness, what about Zhu Shujian? He let out a long breath. How can I be such a villain? If he has talent and becomes a scholar or even a top 3, it's also his ability. It would be beneath his dignity to attack a powerless, poor scholar. What's more, attacking such a person would really lower his grade. Zhu Shujian simply couldn't catch his eye at all. Just like it never feels uneasy to guard against a small dog. This day, the sky was clear and the wind was mild. A very good day. Minister Qiao took Jin Shi and Qiao Wanyan back to the ancestral house where Lai, which was now the old house where the other 2 branches of the Qiao family lived. The second and third branches had long been waiting at the gate to welcome them, with smiles on their faces and not daring to act reckless. Lai, the wife of the third branch, was a discerning person. She immediately stepped forward to help Jin Shi and Qiao Wanyan get off the carriage and greeted them with concern. I was worried when I heard the news that Wanyan was injured in the capital. How is it now? Are you better? Kia Wanyan said lightly, much better. Thank you for your concern. Third aunt, the wife of the third branch, smiled and said, that's good, that's good. Why don't you let Wanyan rest in the room today? Although ancestor worship is important, the ancestors won't blame a child, the wife of the second branch said sarcastically. Third sister-in-law really knows how to love children. This kind of behavior made their second branch look like a piece of wood. Minister Kiao said, Ahavi told Wanyan when I came, just pay a visit and don't need to perform the grand ceremony of 3 bows and 9 kowtows. After all, the injury is not completely healed, so treat it as a special case. Everyone echoed again and welcomed them in. The second branch had 4 children. The eldest son Kiao Kongshan, the second daughter Kiao Chuksui, the third son Kiao Jabai, and the fourth daughter Kiao Chuxia. The third branch had only 2 sons, Kiao Songking and Kiao Sonjian. Kiao Wanyan swept a look and found that Kiao Chizu was at the end of the crowd. According to past years' practice, Kiao Chuksui, as the eldest sister of the Kiao family, always stood at the front, pretending to be very reliable and busy helping the family. But today, for some reason, she was at the end, looking uneasy and uncomfortable. Kiao Wanyan took a few more looks and saw Kiao Chizu covering her mouth with a handkerchief, seeming to be uncomfortable. Kiao Wanyan lightly frowned. It turned out that she was uncomfortable. No wonder she didn't pretend anymore. After a while, Kiao Chizu walked up to the wife of the second branch and whispered, Mother, I'm not feeling well and want to go back to rest. The wife of the second branch frowned and scolded in a low voice, Do you know what day it is today? Why do you have to be sick at this time? Kiao Chizu lowered her eyebrows and looked submissive. But mother, I really can't hold on anymore. The wife of the second branch gave her a white look, looking iron for not becoming steel. If she hadn't been sick recently, it would end. They've been the third branch, stern to take the limelight today. She waved her hand to signal her to leave. Kiao Chizu immediately blushed slightly and left quietly, but she didn't go back to her room to rest directly. Instead, she secretly changed into a maid's clothes and left through the back door. She walked a few steps into an alley and entered a shop through the back door. This shop was Kiao Chizu's private property, but it had not been open for business for some time. This was the place where Kiao Chizu met Ho Yu, the son of the owner of Yungjian Yan store. In private, go and invite young Master Ho to come quickly. Don't alert anyone. And come in through the back door. The maid immediately responded when she heard the words. After about half of incense, she brought Ho Yu over and stood outside without entering. As soon as Ho Yu entered, he hugged her and asked softly, Why did you suddenly send someone to find me? Have you thought about it? When Kiao Chuksui heard this, she showed a hesitant look on her face. You Langai, haven't you said yet? Ho Yu's face changed slightly, and he seemed a little anxious. Chuksui, you are now pregnant with my child. If you continue to delay, how will you show your face? Kiao Chuksui lowered her head some time ago. After General Hong Wu returned to the capital, he came to my house to propose marriage. I was then 10. The house at that time and only found out when I went back. That night, I told my mother that I didn't want to marry the youngest son of General Hong Wu, but my mother beat me and lost her temper and scolded me. I didn't know how to mention this matter. For a while, she was dare not say she was unmarried but had a child. If her mother knew, she would definitely scold her to death. So you let go of her. So do you regret having a relationship with me? I thought we were in love, true love. But now you regret it, right? No. Kiao Chizu immediately grabbed his hand. I don't regret it. I just don't know how to tell my mother. Don't know how to open my mouth. She was a little afraid that her family would know about this matter. But when she dared to do this, it was to force the family to cancel the marriage. and let herself marry Yu Lang as she wished. But now that the matter was silent for a long time and finally nodded. I'll try again when he go back. Shou Yu smiled. Okay, our future is in your hands. He hugged Kiao Chuxui. You know, I don't take at your beauty or your family background. I just love you deeply. Ahavi Fanta sized about our future many times, and you don't know how much I look forward to that moment. Kiao Chuzu was also guided by his words to start fantasizing about their wedding, the birth of the child, and the love between husband and wife in the future. Suddenly, a breath of hot air came to her ear. Chuxui, I'm not feeling well. Help me. The two came out of the alley one after another. Xiaoying was waiting for the buns that hadn't been out of the pot at a stall not far away. Now she was accompanying the miss to live in the farmhouse with insufficient supplies and no one to order around, so she could only come out to buy them. But unexpected lie, she saw the eldest lady of the second branch, Kiao Chuxui. Not only that, she also saw Hou Yu, the son of the Yun Jianyan store manager who had caused trouble when the miss was distributing porridge last time. The two of them had been spotted by her and the miss by chance last time, and now they were still in contact. Plus, why was the eldest lady of the second branch dressed as a maid? She had just been standing by the roadside retching. Xiaoying seemed to realize something, abandoned the pending buns, and ran back to the farmhouse. After recounting everything she saw to Kiao Yihuan, even Kiao Yihuan was surprised by Kiao Chuzu's boldness. Pregnant before marriage, if this gets out, all Kiao family women will be implicated. Meeting in private is one thing, but having an affair? Xiaoying quickly said, what should we do, miss? This could affect you too. Kiao Yuhuan frowned in thought, then whispered after a long while, prepare tonight. In need to find that Hou Yu. A nanny guarded the farmhouse gate to prevent her from going out, but at night she could climb over the wall. Miss Y, look for Hou Yu. He caused trouble last time and almost hurt you. To resolve this, shift the blame. Late at night, Shou Yu's store was knocked. As a younger family member living with relatives, he answered the door. Who are you? He looked at the figure in a black cloak, face hidden in the night. Never mind who Ikno, what you want and your purpose. Shou Yu was confused. What are you talking about? Who are you? Kiao Yuhuan said coldly. You approached Kiao Chuzu and slept with her to climb the social ladder and gain Kiao family wealth. If this works, her Rai alone would support you for generations. Hou Yu's face paled. Who the hell are you? How do you know this? Ignoring his question, Kiao Yuhuan pressed. Since you've taken such a risk, don't you want a bigger reward? Hou Yu frowned. What do you mean? What's the second branch of the Kiao family? If the direct daughter of the first branch becomes your wife, you will gain not just wealth but lofty status. Shou Yu was stunned. She added, the first branch has no sons. Marrying their direct daughter, Minister Kiao would treat you like his own. Her status is too noble. If she gets pregnant before marriage, she can marry up or even equally marrying down. She dehues you. Minister Kiao might be angry, but killing you would condemn his daughter to a life of celibacy. He would end there. Shou Yu was tempted. One risk or two. Why not aim higher? But who was this woman? What if the second branch knew about Chuzu and was setting a trap? He tried to yank off her cloak, but Kiao Yihuan stepped back. Do you think I came alone? Touch me or see my face, and you won't live through the night. Her calmness intimidated him. He withdrew to the Eastern Palace. Would His Highness still protect her? Kiao Yihuan turned to leave. All she did was to make His Highness change his mind. Trapped in the abyss, only he could save her. She just wanted to go back to the way things were. A maid stepped into Yangning Pavilion with steady strides, carrying a tray on which rested several new hair pins and ornaments from Yunjian Yan store. Miss, these are the new step-shaking hairpins from Yunjian Yan store. The manager said they were new arrivals. specially gifted to valued customers of the shop. Kia Wanyan sat with her hands resting, fingertips wrapped in flower petals as she dyed her nails with impatience. She looked up at the mention, intrigued by a pair of pearl earrings. Among the items, Seoan noticed too, and before Kia Wanyan could speak, she walked over, picked up the pearl earrings, and presented them. Miss, these pearl earrings are exquisite fine craftsmanship. The luster and size of the pearls are top-notch. They'd pair perfect lie with that sheer gauzy dress from Yeongju the other day. Kia Wanyan nodded. Put them away. Divide the rest among yourselves. She paused, but I didn't shop at Yeonji and Yan store much. Why am I a valued customer? A maid replied. Miss Ray Annabelle, lady of the capital. Who does end to know your name? Yeonji and Yan store must want to curry favor, hoping you'll visit more. Even your spare change would make them grateful. The miss was a regular at Hibao Pavilion, spending enough there each year to support a common family for Alafi time. Which silver shop in the capital would want her patronage? Too bad none matched Hibao Pavilion's craftsmanship and variety. Kia Wanyan smiled, seemingly pleased, her eyes warm. A maid entered from outside. Miss, the 10th princess is here. Soon after, Baozhu hurried in. Wanyan, I brought you a good thing. Like showing off a treasure, she took the small box from Imo behind her and took out a palm-sized blue and white porcelain vessel. Inside, a candle wick stood upright in what looked like solidified wax. What's this? Kia Wanyan asked, puzzled. What was so special about a candle in porcelain? Baozhu lit the wick without a word, sitting quietly as it burned. When the flame reached the wax, a faint osmanthus fragrance filled the air. Kia Wanyan blinked, interested, seeing her big eyes fixed on the fragrance. Baozhu felt satisfied. She knew her little treasure would love it, worth the sleepless nights and forgotten meals spent researching. Kia Wanyan leaned in and took a deep breath, surrounded by the sweet scent. Why does this candle smell like osmanthus? Baozhu grinned, foolishly admiring Kia Wanyan's curious, spirited face. Up close, her beauty was like a perfect sculpture. Ahmad, osmanthus essential oil, and added it to the candle. This is my first product to sell. What do you think? Nice. If this sells, it'll make as much as soap. Kia Wanyan nodded. Glad you like it. I also made rose and jasmine scents. I'll send some over. You Ray the first in the capital to try them. You're the best, Baozhu. Kia Wanyan smiled sweetly. Baozhu's only thought. I'd give my life for her. What's it called? I haven't named it yet. Want to choose? Kia Wanyan thought. The fragrance is subtle when lit, adding beauty to an ordinary room. How about fragrance diffuser? Baozhu paused, then nodded. Perfect. Fragrance diffuser it is. How's your injury, Wanyan? Much better. Yun Heng's medicine worked. Scars are almost gone. Good thing you know divine Dr. Yun. Heard he might return to Pharmacist Valley. It'd be reassuring if he stayed. Kia Wanyan sighed. I don't mind, but having him here invites visitors. Father has to fend off officials above and below his rank. It's a hassle. Plus, the emperor summons him often. I know he dislikes the palace, but as a Daewoo subject, he can't refuse in the capital. Staying would drag the Kiao family down. Returning is best. He avoids doing what he hates, and father saves energy on courtesies. Heard you two are close, so you can meet anytime. Baozhu comforted her. Greetings, princess. Guo Liqing entered with a plate of osmanthus cakes. Why are you here? Since returning she visits daily. Kia Wanyan said. Comes early, leaves late, very attentive. Guo Liqing smiled, placing the cakes on the table. Second miss. I have nothing to do at home. Being here cheers me up. Pretty people lift the mood. Kia Wanyan smiled. With dyed nails, she lets Yuan feed her a cake. Baozhu pouted. Pretty people lift the mood. Hey, I'm fake. Guo Liqing sat. The palace exam is day after tomorrow. Results in 3 days. My brother took the metropolitan exam. Axu Shujian is said to be brilliant like Lai top scholar. Kia Wanyan didn't respond. Even father praised Su Shujian, but he ended up third-place scholar. Not that it mattered. She wondered if the crown prince saw his stationery during the exam. If so, she'd love to see his reaction. First expressing affection, then learning she gifted a handsome scholar. She enjoyed making others restless. People take you for granted once they think you. Ray, there's its human nature, even for the crown prince. Like those rice paper flowers she once adored, then discarded days later. In the imperial study, after being processed by exam officials, top candidates' papers reached the exam reviewers, who presented the top 3 to the emperor. With hundreds of second and third class scholars, he only reviewed the first 3. The crown prince and minister of rights stayed silent. The minister, assisting the prince, knew who was most talented but saw the prince like for Zhu Shujian during the 3rd session. Praising Zhu Shujian now would risk the prince's wrath. Better to stay neutral. The Imperial College Chancellor, unaware of the prince's attitude, highly recommended Zhu Shujian. Your Majesty, Zhu Shujian is young but shows incredible potential. Innovative yet practical, solid knowledge. Quick thinking. He deserve you and do well. His praise made his fondness obvious. The emperor studied Zhu Shujian's paper, resume and portrait. He made the obvious choice. Though young, Zhu Shujian lacks recklessness. His answers are novel yet steady, impressive. All took this as the emperor's pick until he said, Zhu Shujian is handsome and gifted, but I appoint him third-class scholar. Shock followed. Even the crown prince expected Zhu Shujian to be first. Why third? Not for looks. The emperor was Enchalo. Zhu Shujian was Minister Qiao's disciple. The emperor suppressed noble families, and Qiao, a top minister, needed no rising protege. As third-class scholar, Zhu Shujian's career would stall. Just as master predicted, Zhu Shujian is third-class scholar. Steward Chen told Minister Qiao. The minister sipped tea. Many know he's my disciple. The emperor won tea. Promote him. As third-class scholar, he can't advance. Courtiers are cunning. They'll avoid supporting him, Chen said. Perfect, thought the minister. As Amanor capital official, Zhu Shujian would fly under the radar, never linked to the former dynasty bloodline. With the remnant from Xiling arriving soon, who'd suspect the real bloodline was in the capital? The emperor's obsession with remnants made this ruse necessary. The Qiao family still faced his suspicion, even without a direct son. Master, second miss invited Zhu Shujian to paint in Yangning Pavilion. The minister frowned. He told Wanyan to keep her distance until things stabilized. He wanted options for her. After he leaves, tell her to dine with us in Qiyun Hall tonight. Yun Heng spent days making antidotes, healing pills and beauty creams. He endured palace visits for Wanyan, but staying risked implicating the Qiao family. He'd return to Pharmacist Valley, his first desire to stay outside in 20 years. He paused to cook a beauty soup, stopping at Yangning Pavilion's gate. Qiao Wanyan wore a jade white gauzy dress, real as moonlight. Holding a peach-printed lantern, she half-closed her eyes. A goddess in the breeze, her hair fell loose, held by a white jade hairpin. Zhu Shujian stood behind, tucking 2 white camellias behind her ear. Meeting Yun Heng's frown, he smiled. Second Miss Beauty is enhanced by these flowers, flawless. Qiao Wanyan smiled. Though you failed father's expectations as third-class scholar, your studies weren't wasted. Yun Heng didn't follow their banter, but they met at ease. Zhu Shujian remained polite, his scholar's grace impeccable. Qiao Wanyan checked her reflection in a maid's mirror, pleased with her rare simple look. No wonder your paintings are good. Your taste is decent. You could thrive as an artisan. He chuckled with second Mrs. support. I'd never worry. She waved the maid away. Enough flattery. Let's paint. Despite her words, she was clearly happy. She was straightforward. Praise made her happy. Insults earned retaliation. Yun Heng placed the soup on a stone table. Watching the scene, he felt uncomfortable, staring at koi in the pond. Dejected, Guo Liqing watched him from the door, unable to look away. After half an hour of painting, Yun Heng served the soup, then pulled it back. Qiao Wanyan raised an eyebrow, sitting tiredly. What's wrong? Sorry, it's cold. Maids thought even cold soup would be refused, but Qiao Wanyan nodded. Be careful next time. Yun Heng felt only guilt for his carelessness. The maids marveled. How did the miss tame this allo of man into such a docile, thoughtful servant? Guo Liqing suggested. Didn't you want a farewell dinner for Master Yun? There's a new restaurant, shall we try it? Good idea. It's almost dinner. Ceylon. Get Yao Yao. Miss Yun Yao went to the 10th princess SGS, trying a new magic cube, and 1 TB back till night. Strange, she used to complain. At the princess' name, kids are fickle. As they left, Zhu Shujian declined payment. Painting for you is an honor, taking money would be greedy. Join us for dinner, it's live liar with more people, but it's Master Yun's farewell dinner. I'm intruding? Since when is my invitation an intrusion? Come along. Yun Heng glared at Zhu Shujian as he passed. Zhu Shujian smiled. Master Yun heading back? You're annoying, Yun Heng said. Thank you. Yun Heng frowned. This man was odd. He quickened at his pace to join Qiao Wanyan. Huizhu Lu, the new restaurant, replaced a formerly profitable one sold cheap lie by the previous owner, Ho Yu, son of Yun Jianyan store's manager, who'd fallen out with the 10th princess. With old customers and a new start, business boomed. The restaurant was actually a gift from Qiao Chizu, one of the Qiao family's countless properties, forgotten by the second branch. This way, sirs, for a view? Zealon snapped. Private room? Sorry. Full, but there's a quiet spot in the hall. Zealon tossed a silver ingot. Now? The waiter hesitated. She threw a gold ingot. Let me help. Clear your best room, my miss. We'll pay everyone's bill. Stunned, the waiter realized he'd met real wealth. Guo Liqing was also amazed. She knew the miss was rich, but this was another level. She'd never felt poorer. Money truly divided people. The waiter's hands trembled as he held the gold in. Got, I'll clear the best private room right away. Please wait a moment, esteemed guests. He rushed off like a whirlwind, yelling for staff to evacuate the premium room. Patrons in the hall grumbled, but the waiter waved the gold and got. The lady in red will cover everyone's bill plus a bonus. Please move to the hall kindly. Guests whispered in amazement. Who was this wealthy young lady? Qiao Wanyan entered the private room, unimpressed by the commotion. Ziyuan followed, sniffing. Miss, this place smells like cheap incense. Guo Liqing first asmal. The food might be good. She felt out of place beside Qiao Wanyan, who radiated casual luxury. Yun Heng stood by the window, ignoring Zhu Shujian, who tried to make conversation. Master Yun, heard you are returning to Pharmacist Valley. Pity your skills are needed here. Yun Heng shot him a cold look. My business. Qiao Wanyan interrupted. Enough chatter. Order the best dishes. She scanned the menu, pointing to several. These, and a pot of aged flower tea. As the waiter scurried off, Guo Liqing noticed Zhu Shujian staring at Qiao Wanyan. His gaze was too bold for a scholar. Was he infatuated? She recalled Qiao Yihuan's swords about Zhu Shujian, coveting the Qiao family's wealth. Is he using the mist to climb higher? The meal arrived. Delicacies like braised shark, fin and bird's nest. Qiao Wanyan ate daintily, while Yun Heng silently served her soup. Zhu Shujian tried to flatter, but she barely responded. Suddenly, shouting came from downstairs. Ho Yu, you thief, stealing my family's restaurant. Qiao Wanyan frowned. Ziyuan peeked out. Miss, it's Qiao Chuxui. She's yelling at the manager, Ho Yu. Everyone went to the window. Qiao Chuzu stood in the street, disheveled, pointing at Ho Yu. You promised to marry me, but you took my restaurant and ignored me. I'm carrying your child, you scoundrel. Gasps led through the crowd. Ho Yu Pa led, yelling nonsense. Get out. Kiao Chuxui collapsed, sobbing. I gave you everything, my body, my property, and now you discard me? Guo Liqing whispered. This is disastrous for the Kiao family. Kiao Wanyan says Colden Ed so Kiao Chuzu fell. For Ho Yu Strick. Interesting. Timing. Did someone set this up? She noticed Su Shujian's subtle smile. Is he involved? Yun Heng touched at her arm. Don't worry about this. She smiled. I'm a not. This farce is entertaining. Just then Imperial Guards arrived, led by Jing Yuan. Arrest Ho Yu for fraud and disrupting the peace. They ignored Kiao Chuxui, who wailed, my child, my reputation. Jing Yuan bowed to the window. Your Highness. Orders Ho Yu Sarist. Apologies for the disturbance. Second miss. Kiao Wanyan waved him off. The crown prince acted fast. Did he know about this? As they left, Su Shujian said, what a shame for Miss Chuxui. Kiao Wanyan replied coldly. Foolish choices lead to folly. She glanced at him. His calmness confirmed her suspicion. He played a role here. Why? Back at the mansion, Kiao Minister Kiao awaited in Qiyun Hall. Seeing Zhu Shujian with Wanyan, he frowned but said nothing. During dinner, he mentioned, the emperor assigned Zhu Shujian to the Hanlin Academy, a minor post, but suitable for a third-class scholar. Kiao Wanyan noticed her father's tension. He knows Zhu Shujian's agenda. Why keep him close? After dinner, Yun Heng prepared to leave. Take care of yourself. I'll send new medicine monthly. She hugged him. Stay safe. Visit when you can. Watching him go, she felt a rare pang. Will I miss him? That night, Kiao Yi Huan received news of Kiao Chizu's disgrace. She laughed wildly. Perfect. Now Kiao Wanyan's family is disgraced next. I'll ruin her reputation too. In the imperial study, the crown prince reviewed Ho Yu's case. So Kiao Chuzu was played. Interesting. Who tipped us off? Jing Yuan replied. An anonymous letter mentioned Ho Yu's fraud. Also, a witness saw Zhu Shujian meeting Ho Yu days ago. The prince smiled coldly. Zhu Shujian, what Sayur game? And Kiao Wanyan, are you involved? The capital's web of intrigue thickened, with each move shaping the fate of dynasties. Several pavilions near the Tangquan Palace were occupied by groups of people chatting. Upon seeing He Ziyu approach, everyone stepped forward to bow and greet him. Their eyes fell on the young, handsome man in white rumored to be Yun Heng, the youngest medical prodigy in Juju. So this was the legendary physician Yun. Kiao family cell-dest daughter must have great influence to be friends with such a renowned doctor. As early summer approached, the afternoon sun was scorching. Zilon held an oil paper umbrella beside Kiao Wanyan. Noticing people staring at young Master Yun in the distance, she leaned close to whisper, "Miss, steps ahead, watch your step." Yun Heng suddenly stopped. The moment he Ziyu turned, he reached out to help Kiao Wanyan up the steps, but she had already placed her hand on his wrist. Ascending Stia Daily, his Ziyu's expression remained unchanged as he turned away. Onlookers murmured in surprise after the group entered the Tang Quan Palace. Physician Yun is as gentle as he looks, so considerate to help the injured second Miss Kiao. True lie, a healer, spinval and heart. Right. I dared he had a quirky temper during his travels, only treating patients on a whim. Seems the rumors were false. He's handsome and skilled, since he's close to first Miss Kiao. Might they marry? Unlikely. Everyone knows the crown prince favors first Miss Kiao. Even so, the emperor and empress won Taprove. After what happened on the Longevity Festival, how could a woman public lie? Can Ed become crown princess? Inside the inner chamber, a female physician examined Kiao Yihuan. Though her burns looked severe, they were mainly superficial. Her fair skin made them appear worse. Blisters on her arms would heal with proper medication, but scars would remain. Suddenly, Kiao Yihuan grasped the physician's hand, pleading, "Lie, please don't mention the injury on my shoulder." She never wanted His Highness to see such an ugly scar. The physician nodded. Discretion is essential in the palace. Kiao Yihuan relaxed slightly but worried about Qian Miao Yun and others who had seen the scar. Stepping out, the physician was led to see the crown prince and physician Yun. She quickly greeted them, stealing a glance at Kiao Wanyan. "How is she?" He asked. Kiao Wanyan added, "Yes, how is my sister? Speak frankly, I can take it." The physician paused. First, Miss Kiao's burns are uncritical. With medication and rest, they'll heal, but the blisters on her arms will leave faint scars. Noble ladies outside, who hadn't followed Qian Mao Yunan, heard this. With physician Yun here, what were a few scars? He glanced at Yun Heng, knowing he would prescribe medicine for Yi Huan, but women treasured their looks, and he didn't want Yi Huan depressed over scars. Kiao Wanyan gently touched her shoulder, meeting the physician's gaze. The physician, who once received favors from the Kiao family, knew where her loyalty lay. There, as something else. She hesitated. "Speak," he prompted. "While examining first Miss, I noticed two distinct scars on her shoulders, like lie from arrow wounds." "Arrow wounds?" Ziyu frowned. Kiao Yihuan had never faced danger. Why hadn't she sought his protection? He turned to Kiao Wanyan, expecting answers as family, but she lowered her head, hands trembling as they clutched her skirt, knuckles white, looking guilty. He swallowed his words. "Wanyan, go rest. Your injury has healed. Your sister is fine, auditory." Kiao Wanyan nodded without meeting his eyes, supported by Zilon as she left. "All of you leave." Ziyu ordered. "No one enters without my permission." Alone, Ziyu crossed the screen into the inner chamber. Curtains fell, obscuring the figure on the bed. Xiaoying was surprised. "Greetings, Crown Prince," she added joyfully. "Miss His Highness is here." Kiao Yuhuan sat up, ignoring the burning pain. Tears welled up from wrong edge. She dismissed him so much, fearing he'd abandoned her. "Your Highness," she whispered, voice thick with emotion. Ziyu was silent. "How did you get arrow wounds on your shoulders?" Kiao Yuhuan froze, ears ringing. "Who did this? Why didn't you tell me?" He pressed. Her pupils trembled. How had he found out? He'd surely despise her now. Xiaoying clenched her fists. The physician must have spilled the beans. Better to implicate the real culprit. It was second Miss Howing shouted, she ordered Lu Jinyi to wound Miss with barbed arrows. Presumptuous. He Ziyu snapped, slandering. Your mistress, do you want to die? Qiao Wanyan, who hadn't left, smiled at the outburst. Everyone was Agamblur. The crown prince hated scheming people, yet he favored exactly that type. What a show! Behind the curtains, Qiao Yihuan stared in disbelief. The crown prince, who'd once trusted her unconditionally, now denied her without hesitation. He felt like a stranger. Your Highness, you don't believe me? She choked. His tone softened reluctantly. Your sister isn't like that. Though spoiled, she wouldn't do this. Qiao Yuhuan, always gentle and forbearing, could no longer hold back years of bitterness. Do you truly know her? Do you know her real nature? He Ziyu was taken aback. Of course you do. She laughed sarcastically. In the Qiao household, even servants looked down on me because Wanyan warned anyone befriending me would be her enemy. I lived worse than a servant. Wanyan beat me regardless of seniority. And father and mother turned a blind eye. You said you hated scheming people, yet she pretends to befriend me to get close to you. Can't you see through that? Qiao Wanyan, behind the screen, thought Qiao Yihuan go mad. Instead of pleading pitiful lie, she was accusing the crown prince of bad judgment. Did she forget he was the future emperor? He Ziyu's face darkened ominously. Qiao Yihuan, unable to see through the gauze, continued. If you don't believe Wanyan hurt me, who else would dare wound a minister? Stutter under your watch? She tied me in a dark room, had Lu Jinai shoot me with barbed arrows, then forced medicine on me to heal quickly. She threatened to kill my mother if I spoke. Do you know what I suffered? Unburdening herself felt liberating. Since he knew about the scars, why protect Wanyan? Let him see her sister's true colors. Howing knelt. Miss has never been happy, only when she met you did she smile. Even as second Miss bullied her, she endured for the hope of being with you. If you don't believe her, what future does she have? A bad woman. Bad woman. Apparat squawked from behind the screen, breaking the silence. Hugh frowned. If Wanyan did this, there must be arison. What truth am I missing? Qiao Yuhuan stopped crying. Xiaoying rushed to say, there's no reason, she just hates Miss. Why else would you panic to explain? Hugh asked coldly. Xiaoying fell silent, sweating under his gaze. I'm the crown prince, not a fool, he said. Your Highness. Qiao Yihuan shouted, what truth do you want? I'll tell you, since you don't trust me. Nothing I say matters. It's my fault for being weak. Should a Javi been jealous fought back? Are you satisfied? He Ziyu sayas dimmed. Was she blaming him for partiality? She sounded like the petty women in his father share M. Tell me, who killed that blood-sweating steed? Why did you fall ill at the Longevity banquet? Who made that tremella soup you drank? Qiao Yihuan was confused. The soup had been Howing's plot to sabotage Wanyan, which backfired. But the horse? I don't know what you're talking about. People have, but denying wrongdoings is a flaw, he said sharply. Her heart ached. Howing made the soup without my knowledge. Wanyan used a servant to deliver it as yours. Humiliating me. Are you accusing me unjustly? As for the horse, I've never seen it. Let Wanyan confront me if she slandered me. I never mentioned Wanyan. He Ziyu said. Why assume she accused you? Qiao Yuhuan was speechless. Hugh sighed. Maybe I never knew you. Or maybe you've changed. Exhausted, he turned to leave. Her sobs didn't stop him. Outside, Lu Jinai, Guo Liching, Yunyo, Siwan Qian, Maoyun, and others waited. Though they could enter the crown prince, Qiao Yihuan shouts carried. Was she arguing with the crown prince? Had she lost her mind? Qian Miao Yun decided to report this to the empress. Both Qiao sisters needed punishment. Wanyan for manipulating her, and Yi Huan for disrespecting the crown prince. Yunyo Ansi had left a talking bird inside. About to retrieve it, she was surrounded by noble ladies, flattering her as Yun Heng's sister. Yunyo, we didn't know you were a physician, Yun's sister. Please introduce us, my brother has a coup. Yunyo frowned. Outraged, my brother was invited by Qiao Yihuan? That's ridiculous. Yun Yao's voice was very loud, and the crowd who had already intended to come closer to see the excitement all gathered around upon hearing this. Between the lines of her words, they vaguely sensed the taste of surprising news. Although Yun Yao had grown up in the pharmacist valley and hadn't seen much of the world, she was an introverted child who feared crowds. Seeing more and more people gathering around, Yun Yao instead raised her voice even louder. You mustn't talk nonsense. My brother wasn't invited by Qiao Yuhuan. He rushed over like his pants were on fire because he learned that Sister Ayan was poisoned. The crowd ignored her inappropriate description. But that's what everyone outside is saying. And I personally saw Miss Qiao bring Divine Doctor Yun to Shanglin hunting ground that morning. Others who had also witnessed this scene chimed in. After all, it was hard for them to believe that the fact known throughout Shanglin hunting ground was actually false from the very beginning. Yun Yao explained with rare patience. Is what others say necessarily right? It was clearly Sister Zilan who took Sister Ayan as keepsake to the pharmacist valley to find my brother, but she fainted on the way for some unknown reason, and happened to bump into Qiao Yihuan returning to the capital. By some twist of fate, Qiao Yihuan took Sister Ayan as keepsake to find my brother. Yun Yao's lightly naive voice slowly and clearly enunciated this truth, and the crowd fell silent in unison upon hearing it. Dozens of people gathered together, yet it was so silent that it felt uncomfortable. Miss Yun, are you saying that Divine Dr. Yun and second Miss Qiao are on good terms? Yun Yao raised her head slightly. No, everyone's hearts were in their throats, like watching the most crucial climax of a play, staring intently at Yun Yao, waiting for her next words. Sister Ayan and my brother are in just on good terms. They're extremely close. Everyone. Little sister, don't you take such long pauses when speaking? Yun Yao pouted. Actually, sometimes I suspect that I am not my brother's real sister, but Sister Ayan is. My brother has a severe clean lines his obsession. He washes his hands 800 times a day, and woe to anyone who touches him. But when facing Sister Ayan, he completely forgets about it. Do you know why I say that? The crowd all shook their heads. Yun Yao playfully kept them in suspense, then giggled under their expectant gazes. I win. Tell you, that's my brother's secret, and I can't let you know. Hee everyone. We really want to beat up this naughty monkey. Seeing the crowd grinding their teeth in frustration, Yun Yao burst into laughter. This was fun. So much fun. But I can tell you another fact. The crowd looked at her skeptically, clearly not believing that this prank-loving, naughty monkey could say anything serious. Yun Yao, my brother is extremely good to Sister Ayan. He agrees to any request she makes. In my eyes, they ray like real siblings from different parents. Someone asked, so is Divine Dr. Yun really not familiar with Miss Qiao? Did he come out of seclusion for second Miss Qiao? Yun Yao nodded. Of course. Haven't you seen me always staying by Sister Ayan's side? It's because my brother trusts Sister Ayan that he let me leave the valley. Otherwise, I might never have been able to play outside in my life. The crowd fell silent again. Now there were two pieces of news. First, Miss Qiao was an out-and-out liar. Second, the most glamorous second Miss Qiao in the capital was about to become even more prominent. Now the person to curry favor with had simply changed from Miss Qiao to second Miss Qiao. Yun Yao added, but you must disturb Sister Ayan. If you affect her recovery, I'll poison you to death. After saying that, she shook her head. No poisoning people to death would get me arrested by the officials, and Sister Ayan would have to go to the trouble of bailing me out. Instead of poisoning you, I'll use itching powder to make you itch to death. The crowd silently moved a zang about 3 meters away from her. This naughty monkey really see med capable of doing such a thing. Yun Yao added, by the way, Can any of you help me find a talking bird? If you can find one, I can buy it from you. Or I can trade my brother's secret for it." Guo Liqing came out just as she heard these words, immediately walked over quickly, smiled and nodded to the crowd, then pulled Yun Yao away from the crowd. "Yao Yao, I can get a talking bird, if I give it to you. Can you tell me your brother's secret?" Yun Yao tugged at her pigtails. "Sister Guo, since you are good friends with Sister Ayan, I won't lie to you. I was just teasing them. If I dared to reveal my brother's secret, I'd be risking my life." She only dared to say that her brother disliked talking to people and didn't like others approaching. She didn't dare to say anything else. Sister Guo already knew these things. Guo Liqing shook her head. "It doesn't matter, but I'll still try my best to find apparat for you." "Parrot? What's that?" "It's a talking bird. If you teach it to speak, it will imitate you." Yun Yao's eyes lit up, as if she had discovered a new world. Meanwhile elsewhere, when He Ziyu walked out of the inner chamber, he saw Qiao Wanyan standing behind the screen. Although she was still some distance from the inner chamber, she must have heard those words. He Hu looked towards the door, and Jing Yuan guiltily lowered his head. What could he do just now? Second Miss Qiao had whispered in his ear that she was then feeling well and wanted to sit inside and rest. How dare he stop her? Everyone in Shanglin hunting ground knew that Second Miss Qiao was injured. If she really complained because he didn't let her in, not to mention the crown prince, Minister Qiao would probably be unable to act openly but would send secret guards to skin him alive behind the scenes. Qiao Wanyan stood timidly by the screen, her delicate and slender body trembling slightly. She looked at the crown prince with cautious eyes, desperately suppressing her unease but failing to calm down. She was like a child who had done something wrong, and was afraid of being found out by an elder. Obviously too young to hide things. He Hu said calmly, "Follow me." With that, he walked towards the back door of the room. The back door of the room in Tang Quan Palace led to a garden hot spring surrounded by high walls, offering excellent privacy. Qiao Wanyan looked at He Ziyu's back and didn't follow. When He Ziyu noticed no footsteps behind him, he stopped and turned to look at her, seemingly confused as to why she was entobying. Qiao Wanyan covered her chest with her uninjured hand, and her gaze didn't waver even when meeting his. She just looked at him quietly, and mist quickly filled her eyes. A clear tear fell, glistening as it traced her cheek. In He Xiu's eyes, it was a highly visually striking scene. Just as He Xiu was about to speak, Qiao Wanyan suddenly walked towards him. She didn't stop beside him but walked straight past him into the backyard. Her lotus steps moved lightly and gracefully, and a rich fragrance quietly wafted over, like blooming flowers in spring, sweet and fresh with a hint of elegance lingering in the nose. In the garden, the winding path led to a secluded and charming place, and the mist rising from the hot spring was like a fairyland on earth. Qiao Wanyan stood beside a peony, her back to He Ziyu, but her shoulders trembled slightly, making it clear that she was crying. He Xiu, Wanyan. Qiao Wanyan lowered her head and refused to look back at him. Her voice choked and as faint as the wind. "Your Highness called me here to ask if I hurt my eldest sister, right?" With her inability to lie, He Ziyu had already guessed who was responsible for the 2 wounds on Qiao Yihuan's shoulders. He had called her here precise lie to find out the real reason. But seeing her so terrified and afraid, the words on his lips wouldn't come out. In the final analysis, he had no standing to question Wanyan about this. What identity? As the crown prince? Even the crown prince couldn't interfere in the Qiao family's internal affairs. Qiao Wanyan suddenly turned around, her clear and beautiful peach blossom eyes red from crying. Tears stained her cheeks, making her even more pitiful. For Qiao Wanyan, she was well aware of her own beauty, and what advantages it could bring her. Having only beauty would reduce her to a plaything of those in power, but with a good father and mother as her backing, she naturally dared to use her beauty as a weapon to achieve her goals. Using everything she could to achieve, her ultimate goal was end shameful. Looking at the emperors of generation after generation in the 9 prefectures, which one of them secured their position solely by themselves? Which one didn't? They've countless advisors and obedient generals to help them obtain the throne? Reading more books naturally allows one to absorb the essence and discard the dross. She was just learning from those supreme rulers. My sister didn't lie. He knew that, but even so, he was still somewhat surprised to hear this now. He was surprised that she had admitted it herself at this moment. If she hadn't said it, he wouldn't have pressed her. Qiao Wanyan said softly, "Does your highness remember the incident of encountering assassins on the way back from Qingju?" Ziyu nodded slightly and listened quietly to what she would say next. "Your highness asked the young marquis to stay by my side to protect me. Although I said I was worried about my sister, I was actually worried about your highness. I knew that going there would only cause trouble for your highness, but I was too anxious to make the right judgment. So I ran to my sister's side regardless, to the place closest to your highness." Qiao Wanyan spoke without stopping, and tears continued to fall from her eyes. Drops of tears fell quietly and miserably, and in Hu's eyes. Even if Qiao Wanyan were to come over and point at his nose and scold him, he probably would be able to say a word of reproach. But Qiao Wanyan choked up here, as if there were thousands of obstacles, and she couldn't say the next words. She pinched her thigh with her hand hidden in her sleeve, and the tears in her eyes flowed even more fiercely. Hu's heart trembled, and he quickly walked over to take out a handkerchief to wipe her tears. But even when one corner of the handkerchief was soaked, she didn't stop crying. She was like made of water, unable to stop. Hu said gently, "Stop crying." Qiao Wanyan cursed inwardly. "Nonsense. If I really stop crying and confident, lie say that I almost killed Qiao Yihuan. Would NTU be heartbroken for Qiao Yihuan? I don't know why, but my sister suddenly pushed me out. Then, an arrow shot by a hidden assassin hit my shoulder. I don't understand. My sister has always been good to me. Why did she treat me like that? Why did she want to kill me?" Qiao Wanyan suddenly broke down and cried bitter lie, and Hu fell silent. He had thought of everything, but he had never expected the truth to be like this. "I was pushed off a cliff by the assassin, and the moment I fell, I was so afraid. I was so afraid that I would really die. I didn't understand why my sister treated me like that. If I had done something to make her unhappy, she could have told me. Why did she treat me like this?" Qiao Wanyan's voice was trembling as she spoke later. "Therefore later, out of revenge, I had someone use a barbed arrow to stab my sister's shoulder. I can help but resent my sister, but I didn't dare to tell your highness the truth. So I lead that I saw an arrow shot by a hidden assassin and wanted to block it for your highness." Hu didn't understand. "Why didn't you dare to say it?" Qiao Wanyan looked at him. "Your highness was very good to my sister at that time, and the whole capital knew that your highness liked my sister. If I had said it, what good would it do? When Hao Ying pushed me into the water, your highness just let it go lightly. Would your highness have stood up for me if I had said it?" These were words of accusation against Ziyu, just like Qiao Yihuan's. But when they came from Qiao Wanyan's mouth, there was not a trace of resentment. There was only endless grievance and pity. It aroused the deepest compassion in people's shirts. "I threatened my sister not to say anything. I was afraid that your highness would know my vicious behavior, and I was..." Hu's mind went worth her trouble. Qiao Wanyan leaned against Ziyu's shoulder with a calm expression, her body still trembling slightly as if she hadn't completely calmed down. She looked at Zhang Qiyun for a long time where Ziyu could see, then rolled her eyes at him and looked away. Zhang Qian, this temper is really... In his life, he had never seen anyone as arrogant and willful as Qiao Wanyan. He Ziyu gently stroked the back of her head, speaking softly to comfort her, as if afraid that Qiao Wanyan's unease hadn't subsided. Qiao Wanyan frowned slightly. Her hair was arranged very exquisitely today, and the maid had spent a whole hour on it in the morning. Now that it was being touched like this, wouldn't it mess up her hair? Thinking of this, Qiao Wanyan got up from his arms. Your Highness, I'm fine now. He Ziyu med to still have something to say. I'll escort you back. Don't think too much. If you encounter any grievances, come to me. I won't be partial to others, and I'll fairly help you solve problems. Qiao Wanyan had just cried bitterly and still had a slightly nasal voice. She gave a soft hum in agreement. The two were about to leave when he Ziyu saw Zhang Qiyun at the door. He didn't know when he had come or if he had heard the gentle words he had just said to comfort Wanyan. He knew that Zhang Qiyun was on good terms with Yi Huan. 3 years ago, he had been saved by Yi Huan, and since then, their relationship had grown closer. Zhang Qiyun made no secret in the capital that Yi Huan was his savior, and anyone who bullied her would be slapping him in the face. Why are you here? Zhang Qiyun paused. I heard that Sister Yi Huan was injured, so I came to take a look. Then he added, Sister Yi Huan has severe burns, and the imperial physicians can't completely remove the scars. Qiao Wanyan, can you ask Yun Heng to prepare a scar removing ointment for Sister Yi Huan? Qiao Wanyan shook her head. I didn't want to. Zhang Qiyun slightly frowned. Hadn't she been pretending to be obedient in front of the crown prince? Why did she now say such unfeeling words and refuse so decisively? Was Enchi afraid that the crown prince would think she was selfish? Why aren't you on good terms with Yun Hen? It should be a big deal to just mention it to him, right? After all, you are sisters. Qiao Wanyan tried her best to restrain herself. Young Marquis is really good at being generous with other people's things. Zhang Qiyun was silent for a moment. Just as he was about to say something, Qiao Wanyan interrupted him. Sisters? Young Marquis, haven't you forgotten who pushed me out to be shot by an arrow and then pushed off the cliff? You saw it, didn't you? Don't you think it's ridiculous to mention the word sisters now, when these words came out, not without limits? Qiao Yuhuan asked after a long silence. Zhang Qian averted his gaze, somewhat at a loss for how to face her. Qiao Yuhuan suddenly laughed. There are 2 scars on my shoulder from barbed arrows. Zhang Qian looked at her, clearly not surprised he hadn't heard about this from anyone. Lu Jinai did it, and the one who ordered him was none other than Qiao Wanyan, the not without limits person in your words. Zhang Qiyun was taken aback. He suddenly recalled that when he was recuperating at the Jin family in Yongju, he went to find Qiao Wanyan after recovering and accidentally learned from her that Sister Yi Huan had already returned to the capital first. But later he saw Sister Yi Huan again at the Jin family. At that time, she looked out of sorts, but she didn't say much. He now guessed why she had disappeared during that period. Qiao Yuhuan, seeing his silence, was utterly exhausted. Do you still think she's not without limits? The room was so quiet for so long that time seemed to freeze. Finally, Zhang Qian spoke slowly. Sister Yuhuan, I'm an outsider. It's not my place to judge matters of the Qiao family. Zhang Qiyun didn't dare to look at her when he said this. Qiao Wanyan's actions were clearly revenge, but if Sister Yi Huan hadn't pushed her out on the cliff, she might not have done such a thing. He had unconditionally favored Qiao Yi Huan before, but now Zhang Qiyun felt that if he went to Qiao Wanyan for an explanation so unjustly, he would surely end up in a terrible situation. Qiao Yuhuan looked at him quietly, at the Zhang Qiyun who had once defended her without limits, but now he felt incredibly strange. So strange that it was as if she no longer knew him. I don't want to see you. Get out. Qiao Yuhuan said coldly, her voice like broken ice. In the cold northern night, sending a chill to the heart. Jang Ki-yun pursed his lips. Sister Yi Hwan, I'll get you top quality burn ointment. Get out. I don't need it. Kiao Yuhwan shouted hysterically. Zhang Qian paused, then turned and left without another word. Kiao Yuhwan was so angry that her hands trembled, and she clenched her fists as she watched him leave, until he disappeared from sight. Xiaoying finally spoke in a low voice after a long silence. Miss, in fact, young Marquis has always been good to you. Why argue with him like this? She could see that young Marquis had no intention of quarreling with the miss, but the miss was now emotion. Ally broken down and irrational. His Highness' actions had indeed caused the miss great harm. Good to me, Kiao Yuhwan sneered. If he hadn't said he could help me keep that bucket of Ginger Mountain properly, I might not have left it at the Jing'an Marquis estate. If he hadn't been careless with the birthday gift, Delive Rest didn't even look at Kiao Yuhwan. Miss, a previous lie regretted that you didn't tell His Highness about Kiao Yuhwan pushing you out, but now it seems fortunate that you held back at that time. Kiao Wanyan sat on the mahogany chair and smiled. If she had said it then, given the crown princess protectiveness of Kiao Yuhwan, she would end they've achieved anything good even if she had spoken. But now it was different. The two of them had just quarreled, and bringing up the past at this time would only deepen the rift between them. Good steel should be used on the blade. Even if it couldn't be a fatal blow, it should deepen their resentment. On the other side, after leaving Tangquan Palace, Qian Miao Yun went to the Empress Palace and exaggerated lie recounted all that had happened not long ago. The Empress sat upright on the Phoenix throne, with a graceful posture, although traces of time could be seen on her face. They were accompanied by the calmness and momentum brought by the years. The Empress half closed her eyes. Does Kiao Yi Huan really have such obvious scars on her shoulders? Qian Miaoyun nodded repeatedly. The Empress was relieved. Those serving the crown prince should have flawless skin and a beautiful figure. In the past, the crown prince had repeatedly contradicted her to make Kiao Yi Huan the crown princess. Now, even if he wanted to continue marrying Kiao Yi Huan, the emperor would stop him without her having to say a word. This was good news. Your Majesty, that Kiao Yi Huan is so rude that she contradicted the crown prince. Kiao Wanyan was also there but didn't stop Kiao Yi Huan's reckless words and deeds. This shows she doesn't take His Highness seriously. The Empress' expression shifted. I didn't want others to hear about this. You know the stakes. Qian Miao Yun was slightly taken aback. Kiao Yi Huan had openly contradicted the crown prince, yet the Empress wasn't angry. But how could Qian Miao Yun know what the Empress was thinking? Who didn't know how much the crown prince had liked Diao Yi Huan in the past? Their quarrel was at best contempt for the royal family, and at worst a feud between young people. If she ordered the punishment of Kiao Yi Huan, what if the crown prince still hadn't completely let go and felt sorry for her, leading to endless entanglements? Moreover, she had no need to pick fault with the Kiao family over this. Qian Miao Yun was unwilling. She had thought that, since the Empress doted on the crown prince so much, she would never tolerate Kiao Yi Huan contradicting and quarreling with the crown prince. Your Majesty, there's something else I didn't know whether to say or not. Just say it. Qian Miaoyun looked hesitant, but finally spoke. I saw Divine Dr. Yun personally feeding Kiao Wanyan osmanthus cake, acting intimately and even wiping the corner of her mouth with his fingertips. The Empress frowned. She had intended Kiao Wanyan to be the crown princess, since she was the future crown princess. Being so intimate with another man was a slap in the face of the crown prince. Go and bring Kiao Wanyan here, without alerting anyone, especially the crown prince. He Baozhu happened to come to pay her respects to the Empress at this time. Hearing this, she immediately stopped the palace maid who was about to announce her and quickly turned to leave. heading towards Changfang Hall, where the crown prince was. Is this woman Qian Maoyun crazy? No, she must have eaten too many red beans and is lovesick. She's telling tales behind people's backs. Huh? Let me show you how we go to Imperial Brother the Crown Prince to pour dirty water on you. In Changfeng Hall, Ziyu picked up the secret letter that had just been returned, glanced at it and then lit it with a candle, half closing his eyes as he watched the flames rise from the letter in his hand. The burning red reflected in his pupils was like a scorching sun imprisoned on a black lake. It looked warm, but not a trace of warmth could be felt. Ziyu threw the secret letter into the enamel brazier. Jing Yuan's expression shifted. Your Highness, if the prince brings that person back this time, he will surely make a great contribution. This was originally Your Highness's plan to comply with the Emperor's will, but now aren't you giving all the credit to Prince Jing? He looked at the blazing candle, his eyes as cold as ice that had remained frozen for thousands of years. Devoid of the usual warmth, his fingers were long and well-jointed, casually resting on the armrest. The coldness emanating from the corners of his eyes spread, and it was a long time before he slowly spoke. Give him credit? I'm afraid he has the life to take it but not the life to return. A mocking sneer curled the corner of Ziyu's mouth. The good show is about to begin. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Your Highness, the 10th princess is here, saying she has something urgent to see you. Ziyu was surprised. This imperial sister had always had little contact with him. They had spoken no more than 10 sentences, from childhood to adulthood, but now she was taking the initiative to find him, and it was something urgent. Let her in. Moments later, Baozhu walked in. Baozhu greets Imperial Brother. What is it? Ziyu's tone was neither cold nor warm. Baozhu pursed her lips, seeming still thinking about how to speak, which in others' eyes made her appear afraid to speak. After all, in everyone's eyes, the 10th princess was someone who was then good at talking to people. She was timid and shrinking, the kind of transparent person who was most unremarkable in a crowd. Although she had improved slightly since returning to the capital, her nature was hard to change overnight. Imperial Brother, when I went to pay my respects to Empress Mother just now, I saw Qian Maoyun there. Ziyu seemed puzzled. Qian Miaoyun was the Empress' niece. Although Qian Miaoyun's mother and the Empress were in full sisters, the Empress had always liked this well-behaved and lovable niece. So in the past, Qian Maoyun had often entered the palace, and he had seen her a few times. Baozhu said, I heard Qian Miaoyun talking to Empress Mother about what happened in Tangquan Palace. Hu's expression shifted. I didn't know what happened in Tangquan Palace, but Qian Miaoyun said that Wanyan and Yi Huan respected Imperial Brother and even quarreled with Imperial Brother. I didn't think Wanyan is that kind of person. She has always been respectful and admiring of Imperial Brother and would never do such absurd thing. Ziyu was silent. It was Yi Huan who had quarreled with him, not Wanyan. Qian Miaoyun's words were indeed ridiculous. Baozhu added, Qian Miaoyun should have no dealings with Wanyan, but between the lines, she implied that Wanyan is arrogant and willful. Marrying an ordinary wealthy son might be fine, but if she marries above her station, she will inevitably cause chaos in the backyard. I think there might be some misunderstanding between them. If she knew Wanyan, she definitely wouldn't say that. Baozhu muttered to herself, then continued to think Wanyan and Imperial Brother are the best match. But Qian Miaoyun said that Wanyan has feelings for Divine Dr. Yun, that they get along very harmoniously and naturally, and even wants the Empress to make Wanyan and Divine Dr. Yun. Hu's face didn't change, but the shadow that flashed deep in his eyes was accurately detected by Baozhu. She didn't see it. She just inexplicably felt her legs go weak and almost could stand. Jing Yuan listened to the 10th princess Long babble and really didn't understand what she had come to see His Highness for. Was she here to gossip? Princess, why did you come to see His Highness? He Baozhu knocked her head with an ouch. It's all my fault. I can speak and talk nonsense when I'm in a hurry. Empress Mother suddenly became unhappy and asked Qian Miao Yun to call Wan Yan over. I was worried that Wan Yan's injury hadn't healed yet and that such trouble would delay her recovery. So I came to beg Imperial Brother to save Wan Yan. He Ziyu stood up without a word and was about to leave. Empress Mother had always wanted Wan Yan to marry him and become the crown princess. Now, hearing Qian Miao Yun say that Wan Yan was close to Yun Heng, she would surely be angry. Qian Miao Yun was indeed outspoken. At the door, He Ziyu suddenly stopped and turned to look at He Baozhu. He Baozhu was startled and stood up obediently. You like to make strange little things now. If your monthly allowance isn't 10 now, go to the Eastern Palace to get it. He Baozhu was slightly taken aback, then immediately smiled and said, Thank you, Imperial Brother. Tsk. Men, could it be that he was being so generous? Because he heard her say that Wan Yan was the best match for him? He Ziyu and Jing Yuan left one after the other. He Baozhu shook her head and sighed in place, then followed. How could she miss such a good show? She was the director. Whacking Hall. Qian Miao Yun arrived a step earlier from the Empress' bedroom but was stopped by Ziyuan at the door. My miss has just changed her medicine and is resting. Don't disturb her. If you wake my miss, don't blame me for being rude. Qian Miao Yun sneered. What can you do to me? How dare a servant girl do anything to me? Ziyuan said calmly, of course. This servant does NT dare to cause you any real harm. But this servant can swear very viciously. And I'll surely swear so much that you can, they'll but want to teach me Allison and lay hands on me. If you do that, my miss will have the opportunity to deal with you. Ziyuan added, if my miss recovery is delayed because of you, my master will be the first to settle accounts with your father. You. Qian Miao Yun was speechless, too angry to say a word. Where did this arrogant little bitch come from? Running wild. Ziyuan was actually easy to get along with when Qiao Wanyan was involved. In the Qiao family, the servants, especially the maids in Yongning Pavilion, liked Ziyuan the most, just because a casual word from Ziyuan could get them a raise in their monthly allowance. I came by order of the Empress Dowager. The Empress is summoning Qiao Wanyan. How dare you block me? Ziyuan frowned slightly and said after a long time, wait here, I'll go and inform the miss. Qian Miao Yun snorted coldly, ignoring her. She tried to force her way in but was quickly blocked by Ziyuan. One arm blocked Qian Miao Yun's path, and she couldn't push it away. You, Ziyuan said coldly, Miss Qian. Just wait here. I'm not saying I want to announce you. Yun Heng came out from inside. Keep your voice down. You will wake Wanyan. Qian Miao Yun was stunned. Yun Heng is here? Just now. This maid said Qiao Wanyan was resting, right? Qiao Wanyan is resting. And Yun Heng is in the room? A man and a woman alone together. If the Empress Dowager finds out, does she still want to marry the crown prince? Qian Miao Yun was even a little excited now. It was indeed heaven helping her that she had caught Qiao Wanyan in such a matter that ruined her innocence. Although the gender barrier was strict in Dao, being alone with a man and a woman was still a great shame. In severe cases, she wouldn't even be able to marry. Well, for the rest of her life, she would be disliked even if she married a butcher. Ziyuan saw the crown prince and the 10th princess approaching in the distance and immediately nodded to pay her respects. Qian Miao Yun looked back, saw them, and was surprised, but immediately paid her respects. This subject greets your highness and the princess. He stopped. Why are you here? Qian Miao Yun didn't notice the crown princess' cold tone. She was bent on telling the crown prince what was happening with Qiao Wanyan now, so that he would know what An unchaste woman she was. This way, she could avenge the hat red of being used by her. Let her call herself a fool and say she deserved it. Your Highness. This subject came to call Qiao Wanyan as ordered by the Empress Dowager, but I never expected Qiao Wanyan to be so absurd. This subject really doesn't know how to reply to the Empress. Qian Maoyun enunciated each word clearly, suppressing her inner excitement as she spoke slowly. He said absurd? Tell me where she's absurd. Qian Maoyun glanced at Yun Heng, who had somehow entered the door, leaving only Ziyuan outside. Your Highness, when this subject came, this maid said Qiao Wanyan was resting, so I thought it would be fine to wait a little while. But who would have thought that divine Dr. Yun came out from inside and said to keep quiet because Qiao Wanyan was sleeping. Qian Miao Yun paused. This maid was guarding outside while inside. Qiao Wanyan and divine Dr. Yun were alone. Together, a man and a woman alone together would end that stain Qiao Wanyan's innocence and reputation if word got out. Isn't that absurd? His expression changed slightly as he looked inside, but the angle only let him see nothing. Ziyuan shot Qian Miao Yun a glance, her fair face full of annoyance. What a blabber mouth. Ziyu was silent for a moment. If you don't spread it, how would it get out? This concerns a woman's reputation. As a woman yourself, don't you understand the stakes? Qian Maoyun was stunned, clearly not expecting the crown prince to say that. She was so shocked by his words that she couldn't form a complete sentence for a long time.